Been a busy week. Busy week in terms of, family, friends. Kind of took a break of everything. So it's nice to come back to this, and then it's really gonna get the the engine well oiled and it's gonna get me motivated to just hit it, Yeah, yeah,
So
go ahead. Do your thing.
this is the first episode of the PokéSells official podcast. My name is Rocco Mitchell. I'm the host, and I'm here today with a wonderful guest that I had the opportunity to meet at the National Card Convention, Master CNC. Thank you, Abraham. If that's okay, if I use your name. If not, I'll cut it out. But um, but yeah. So I guess
Nah,
let's
you
get
good.
into it. If you want, can you just like maybe do some introduction or yeah, just introduce yourself and then how did you get into the best hobby in the world, which is Pokemon card collecting?
Right, right. No, well, what's up, guys? I'm Abe. I'm from Master CNC, and I've been doing this for quite a little bit of time now, man. Honestly, funny enough, I found some of my old paperwork when I first started my PayPal account, and it dated back 2011, 2012. So that's when I really hit it. That's when I was getting into the whole, okay, let's go to events, let's pick up as many collections as we can, let's start flipping it, and really actually taking it seriously and start trying to make something out of it, right? But I'm a nerd at heart, so when I first started with TCG with Pokemon, I mean, I was just a kid, right? Just opening packs. Back in the day when we got packs, I got packs at my video store. So it wasn't even like a card shop. It wasn't as accessible as it was now. Like I remember going to a video store and a lot of people that I tell the story to, they're like, "What the fuck? You go to a video store to get Pokemon cards?" I'm like, "Yeah, dude. You would go get your video store. You could rent out games and whatnot." But yeah, I mean, my fondest memories of it. I think my big pull card that I got back in the day was like a first ed Blaine's Moltres.
Oh,
And that was when my pops actually decided to spend money on cardboard for us because back in the day they were like, nah, this is too crazy. You're not gonna be
yeah.
spending money on this stuff. But yeah, over at Master CNC, I mean, fast forward to today, I have the privilege to be doing this. It started on the side as a little side hustle, and now I got my full LLC going. We've partnered with many of my good buddies out here in Tennessee. I'm originally from Cali. I was over there in Cali. I know probably a lot of your viewers and followers would know what Frankincense is. Frankincense is a huge collectible show out there in California, and they do shows Mondays, Wednesdays, and Sundays. And it's kind of like what's crazy is I can see this coming to Nashville pretty soon. But what it is, it's a huge nerd convention, like an indoor swap meet, you can say, but they do this every week. So it's
Yeah.
constant stream of people going in, constant vendors going in. But yeah, dude, it's been probably almost over a decade now that I've been doing this. So I'm
That's
blessed
awesome.
and
That's
I'm
that's
super excited
crazy.
to keep it going.
Yeah, so you said 2011, so I would have been
Yeah,
I would
man,
have been 3 years old.
2011.
That's crazy. Yeah, so no,
Yeah.
I feel that too. I recently, like obviously, like over this summer, I recently got really into it. I've been playing since I was like in third grade, so probably like 2016 is when I
Hmm.
started. I started in Steam Siege, which is some say it's
Okay,
the best
Steve
set, some
Sage.
say
I
it's the
remember
worst
Steve
set,
Sage.
but yeah, Steam Siege. That's when I started. It was crazy. But yeah, so I started collecting just because like my friends were like, it was kind of the cool thing. So we moved. I'm originally from Miami, so we moved from
Hmm.
Miami to here, because of work and stuff,
Yeah.
for my dad. And my friends, I was the new kid, right? And there was only a couple. There's like three boys in our class because I go to a small school, and they were,
Okay.
yeah. And everyone's just doing. I'm like, okay, so what's the cool thing? Like everyone's getting into and all this stuff, and it's
Yeah.
Pokemon. And I'm like, okay, that's interesting. And I remember telling my mom, I was like, Mom, I really, really like, please give me the like, I really want these. This is the cool thing at school, I want the Poke like. And she's like, okay, I don't know about it and all this stuff. And then one day, I guess when I was at school, she went to like a Toys R Us or something. I remember going to Toys R Us and getting stuff.
Yeah.
But she went to Toys R Us, and then I came home from school, and on the table were two packs, and I was like, "Oh my goodness! Like this is awesome!"
Wow.
And I opened them up, and it was like they were. I didn't get anything. I still have them in my my childhood binder, But yeah, so that's on me.
Yeah,
But
yeah, as you
that's
should,
it. So
as you
Flames
should.
Moltres, so that is like Gym Heroes. That's crazy.
Yeah, Gym Heroes, Gym Challenger era. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's awesome. I love a lot of the retro stuff. I don't have a bunch of retro things. I usually got them from like retro like dollar bins and stuff like that where they're not in the best condition. But I love all the
Yeah.
old retro stuff. I love a lot. I'm actually watching a stream right now because I also like play a lot of the card games, like for competitive stuff. And I'm
Okay.
watching
Okay.
there's
Okay.
like an '06 tournament that a guy was doing online, and I was like, oh shoot. So like I was
Mm.
watching that, and it's really cool. All that stuff. My
Oh,
favorite,
06 tournament. What decks were those?
like
Like the Wailord
so
decks and whatnot back in the day?
no okay Waylord. So 2006, it was Lugia Blastoise Steelix, I think it's called. LBS or LDS, something like
Mm.
that.
Oh, I see what you mean. I see what you mean.
Yeah.
The
So
rain
like
dance
early
and
EX
whatnot.
era.
Yeah.
So and it was crazy because like now you think a standards like 10 like not even 10 turns, but back then like the guy was saying there's like oh yeah turns like tournaments used to be or like a 1v1 would be like 300 turns and I'm like that's crazy like I'm used to like maybe a 20 turn max game and like multiplying that by
Yeah.
however many that is like it's crazy. But
That
yeah,
must have been some hours.
yeah, no, that's true, and I think they played it in still like best of three, or I don't know what they played it, in. But but still,
Nope, I
imagine
would have been
that's
checked
just
out.
yeah, no, that's it's too much. Um, but yeah, so um, and you kind of said that too, where my next question would have been the favorite convention or event. You said the what is it called in California? It was the I don't
So
what is it?
Frankincense, so it's more like a gathering of nerds,
Mhm,
right? I'm sure a lot of people would know about it coming up on the West Coast, but
mhm,
yeah, it's an indoor swap meet for everything collectible. So kind of like the Nash card show that we had here
mhm.
not too long ago. But again, it's a weekly thing. They don't even
Yeah.
do it once a month. It's literally just every Monday, Wednesdays, and Sundays. But my favorite conventions, I'll tell you a little bit of story as well. So I started. I do play TCG. I just took a break like in June. So I
It's a good
stopped
choice.
at yeah, I was running what were we running? The hell was I running? Jesus. I think Raikou. No, Miraidon, Miraidon. I
Right
was
on?
doing Miraidon. So, yeah, so I was running Miraidon, and then rotation came out, and then just totally shit on the deck, so we
Mm-hmm.
couldn't use it. And then prior to that, I was doing the Inteleon VMAX. I
Mm-hmm.
was doing the Urshifu VMAX, so it was
Urshifu.
just a bunch of popping and whatnot.
Yeah.
But going back a little bit more, so TCG, what I first got into was Yu-Gi-Oh! So I used to
Mm-hmm.
play competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! And I'm taking you back to 2011 again. But Six Samurais were there. It was just a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But that's where I started. So to answer your question, what would be my favorite things, dude? It's always been regionals. It's always been nationals,
Mm-hmm.
right? Take out the whole aspect about, let's try to make some money. But going back to kind of like the story that you shared about, just having fun and opening up a pack or, being with your buddies and going out to a tournament and seeing
Yeah.
who bested who and whatnot. But definitely competitive events are got to be one of my tops. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I haven't yet gone. My brother and I are really big into my brother's more into the competitive scene. I'm more into like the, reselling side. But
Yeah,
yeah, the
yeah.
competitive stuff is fun. We started in like 2018. So 2016 we
Okay.
started collecting. 2018 I found like my first because like you grow up and like like it's cool in third grade, but then fourth grade, fifth grade, sixth grade rolls around and it's not really cool. But I still was a big like person about it. Like I loved it. Like I because I have a very
Yeah.
obsessive mentality, so I just like took off with it. And
Mm,
in
mm.
sixth grade we had a friend, a new kid come in, and me and him, he loved Pokemon. And I was like, oh my goodness, I just found my best
Yeah.
friend. And we started going to like the weekends together, and then we started taking my brother, and then we just all got into it. And it was in the early tag team era, so before COVID, but very,
Okay.
very not toxic, but not the probably the best way to get into it. But yeah,
Oh
we've
yeah.
been playing. My brother actually played Urshifu and Teleon. He played that, and I currently
Yeah, it's fun, man.
Lost
It was
Box.
fun till we got shit on by Gardevoir.
Yeah, no, now he plays
Lost
Gardevoir.
Box
He
is
plays,
fun.
yeah, yeah,
Okay,
he,
okay,
yeah,
okay.
he plays
Now he plays his
Gardevoir.
rival deck.
Yeah, he plays Gardevoir, Lugia, and Regidrago right now. So he's like really big into that.
Yeah, of
Um,
course.
yeah, and I play. I like I said, I just play Lost Box. I've been running that and tweaking that for a long time. So I originally
Lost
played Mew
Box is
VMAX.
fun. I was playing Lost Teen.
Oh, Lost, yeah, that's cool.
Mew VMAX,
Yeah,
okay,
everyone's playing
okay.
Mew VMAX.
You could have still played that up until recent, probably what,
Yeah.
like April, which is
Yeah.
pretty good.
Yeah. So that was my favorite thing. I love what you said though about the convention and how like Frankenstein or Frankenstein or I wrote it down, but I didn't really hear it.
Yeah, it's
Um,
no, it's Frank and Sons, kind of like
Frank and
Franken's kids, Frank
Sons.
and Sons.
Okay, and I love how you
Yeah, yeah,
said
yeah.
that. Um, Let me put that down. Um, I love how you said that you can see that coming to Nashville because that's something that I'm like very passionate not passionate about, but like Nashville is like my hometown pretty much. Even though I lived in Miami for childhood, but Nashville, I love Nashville,
Yeah.
and I see it. I don't know, like with especially with all the people coming and like all this stuff. I see it like becoming like a really big like city, like maybe like comparable to like Atlanta, which I know it kind of is already, but like becoming like a really big city. And I
Oh yeah.
think
No,
that
big things are coming.
yeah, no, yeah, and something that it's missing is like a very strong, which I feel like there is, but like a very strong, like like collector type, like nerd, like not nerd scene, but you know what I mean, like
No, no, it's
collectibles,
straight
like
up nerd scene. I,
yeah,
I, I call it nerd scene, right?
yeah,
Anime, Pokemon,
yeah,
TCG, throw in some Vanguard, why not?
yeah. No. Oh my goodness, Luke, my brother and I went to a pre-release for Surging Sparks, and there was a Vanguard tournament happening
Yeah,
across the hallway. I was like, what is happening? Like it is
it's next level too.
crazy.
Yeah, yeah.
It is crazy. But yeah, I really would I would love to like have Nashville be like one of those big cities because I know there's like obviously a strong sense in the East and West Coast. Um
Hmm.
and I know a little bit in the Midwest there's a good I know there's like a bunch of streamers. I think like Azul lives up there and like Richie and like a lot more competitive voices live up there.
Yeah.
Um and but I this the South needs some representation. So I feel like it would be great for it to for
No,
a
it
future
has great
push.
potential. Like I've been just brainstorming with a couple of my buddies and whatnot, about getting together and doing those things because our person out here in Nashville, the dude who hosts his Lighthouse and who hosts all the big conventions is Jeff, and we're having that Pokemon Fest coming soon.
Yeah,
It's going to be this year. Is it next year? I think it's next year.
May,
But
right?
yeah, 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 May of next year, and it's exactly that, right? And if we have enough people come in and everybody engaged, then what I want to do is talk to Jeff and do something a little bit more consistent, right?
Yeah.
To have a bunch of different vendors. I mean, if I can replicate Frankincense over here in Nashville, dude, it's gonna be huge. Because just to kind of give you an idea how big it is, they had it in a different location where we thought it was huge already. What these guys did, they went over and bought out not bought out, but they rented an empty Sam's Club. So
That's
picture how
crazy.
huge that
Yeah.
Sam's Club is, and just threw in lots and tables, and it's ridiculous. You definitely need to at least look it up on YouTube. You'll
No,
like it,
yeah. I will.
but
I'll
it's
look it
fun.
up after this. But that's
Yeah,
crazy. Yeah, no, that's definitely I would love to see and I know the Pokemon thing. I should be vending the next national in February. So I talked
nice.
to Jeff about that. I was like I want to that's kind of like the next step for like a vending standpoint. But the poke like I know the Pokemon one that really brought me into it. I was like, "Oh yeah, I'd love to do that too." But definitely making Nashville big like the just like that or and I know there's a bunch of people like I have a bunch of friends that like they funny you talk about Yu-Gi-Oh! My excuse me, one of my best friends actually went or two of my best friends I guess are big Yu-Gi-Oh guys.
Yeah.
But they've actually like I've bought some cards from them and like some of my biggest cards are Yu-Gi-Oh cards because I don't know
Mm,
why. It was like I think it was with the before the 25th anniversary. I'm not really big into the Yu-Gi-Oh thing,
yeah.
but I sold like the I think I sold the anniversary tin Blue Eyes, and then I sold the Molchimi. I don't even know what it was called, but it was like it was expensive card.
Yeah,
And then I sold the what was it? The Fiendsmith engraver, something like that.
like all the
But
parallel
Yu-Gi-Oh,
rares and
like
whatnot.
yeah, something like that. But it was like there's definitely I feel bad for them because they tell me about like the competitive scene and all that stuff where it's like one, the decks are super complicated, obviously, and very, very technical.
Oh yeah,
But two, like they don't get paid that much, I guess, or there's not a
yeah.
big payout for big tournaments and stuff. And I'm like, oh
Especially
dang,
out
that
here,
sucks.
unfortunately.
Yeah, I was like, dang, that sucks. But at least the cards that you guys are at least pulling from packs are getting like are worth something. But
Oh
yeah, I
yeah.
definitely feel, um, and I'll probably invite one of my friends to be like a stand hand or just be there hanging out at the national because he loves all this stuff. But he just like we said, like he just needs a place like to find a place to, you know, get all that
No,
stuff.
and he'll do good. He'll do good because what I did is you don't have a lot of people vending Yu-Gi-Oh out here. So it's a huge opportunity for somebody to just come and swoop in and then just start doing their thing. And I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure they'll pick up because you'll see them. It's just like every hobby, right? It's just you just need that one person looking to do a certain move and he just bought out most of your stuff,
yeah,
right? But no, it's like me and my buddy Tyler told you, just stay diverse.
yeah.
Go one way, go another way, pick up this, pick up that. Before you know it, you'll have like four different TCGs at your slide.
Yeah, no, I was gonna mention that later on, but we can talk about that now. Where like you said, be diverse. I recently got into my brother and I because we do the like we're both competitive players too at heart. So like we
Yeah,
do this parallel where like I don't know like obviously Pokemon we see the monetary value, but right next to it's like the competitive value, which drives us a
yeah,
little bit more.
yeah.
And what we picked up, which and I knew it was gonna be a big set, and
Mm,
my brother told me that he told me this like probably 5 years ago, but he was
mm.
like, Rocco, if a Disney card game comes out, I will. We're gonna get into it, and I was like, okay. And then we hear about Lorcana, and I'm like, oh shoot, this is the chance. And the first set comes out, and
Yeah,
obviously it's a brand new TCG. You know it's gonna do good because it's backed by Disney, who makes like ungodly amount of money every year.
yeah.
Um, and it's like I was like, I should get into this. Like, I really should start because this is the first one, right? It's going to go through the roof, but I
Yeah.
didn't. And that's probably
Mm.
one of my biggest regrets. But we recently got into Lorcana, and it's fun. Like, Lorcana is actually really, really fun. Um,
I I took a break this June too. Like this
yeah.
June, I just took a big break. But dude, I play Lorcana as well. I'm
Uh-huh.
playing Pokemon, but Lorcana is actually really fun. It's
Yeah.
really, really fun. And one of the biggest things that I think one of the biggest drivers for a TCG is also their communities,
Mhm.
right? If they're going to be super toxic, maybe it's not going to do that well, right?
Mhm.
Because it doesn't attract other people to, oh, you know what? Maybe they can teach me. But
Mhm.
Lorcana is a different beast. Like you
Yeah.
have, not saying that, those type of people don't exist in other communities, but Lorcana people, they're Disney people, right? They're not there to pick a fight. They're not there to, call people names or call you a scrub because you don't know what you're doing. But
Mhm.
no, Lord Kana community is great. Everybody's there to help each other. And going back to the monetary aspect of Lord Kana as well, it's like they're Disney fans.
Yeah.
What what don't they spend money on, right?
Yeah.
So with all these new enchantments coming out, dude, it's gonna continue to grow. And I mean, I hope that it's gonna continue to be here for the next couple years. I mean, I know that they're throwing new sets every now and again, and that's kind of making people a little bit overwhelmed. Where like, damn, they're in what set is it? Sixth to seventh set? It just came out like not that long ago, and I have to catch up. But
Yeah.
no, Lord Kana's fun. Lord Kana's fun.
Yeah, they're about to release their sixth set, Azrat C, which I'm
Yep,
really
yep.
looking like that's the one. But yeah, like and when we get into something, we really get into something. So we bought like five starter decks, and we were just like building it and just playing. And then we were like, okay, so now we're at the stage where like we unsleeved all our starter decks, kind of
Okay.
like we're like, okay, what can we build with what we have,
Mm,
or what like because I'm not like obviously I'm a high school student, right? So I don't I have like money, but I'm also saving. I'm trying to save for stuff and grow like the Pokemon stuff. So
of
I can't go and
course.
spend like $500 on a Lorcana deck. So I'm like, what are these? What are the decks right now? Or like, what's like a good like? I'll spend like anywhere 50 to 100. That's a good like for me. That's a good price range. That's a average Pokemon deck. That's all that stuff. And so we're looking, and then like some stuff popped up. So I was like, okay, cool. Maybe let me find these like mid range, like they're not like meta, but they'll be like something fun that I can play with like a couple friends. Which I also love
Yeah.
about Orkana is the multiplayer aspect. Like you can have like two,
Dude, don't even
like
get me started on that. It's
yeah,
insane.
yeah,
It is
like you can have as
insane.
many people. So it's definitely something I'm looking into. And then we did the same thing with Magic, where we have like two pre-con commander decks. We don't really like. I'm not trying to get into competitive Magic, obviously, because it's
No,
crazy.
that's just a headache. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't even know how the rotation works because like I don't even know. I feel like they rotate every. I don't even know. But Commander's cool for me. But like I said, like you can only put so much energy in so many different things. But right now, Pokemon obviously is doing well. I know that market well. But then Lorcana is like the next thing that I'm trying to pick up and stay diverse, like you said.
Yeah. No, and then one of the things that I've tell, you know, again, going back to what I said about having a mentor, right? What
Mhm,
I love doing is kind of having mentees, right?
mhm,
I love teaching the game to the next person. Why? Because it's just going to create the community that we want, right? It's like I eat, you eat, we all eat. It should be like that. It shouldn't be like, oh no, screw this guy. No, screw this guy. Everybody's just trying to better each other and whatnot. But what I'm trying to say, or where I'm trying to go with this is there's a lot of different ways, and I might be jumping into one of your questions, but
go for it.
for some of the people that who are trying to jump into the game, right? Sometimes you don't require that much money to get into it, right? Because I'm huge on building up smaller collections, trading those off for bigger cards,
Mhm,
right? Like a lot of people say, hey, that's a lot of work, right? Like, why are you focusing on the small stuff? But the small stuff can convert itself into really
mhm,
big stuff and without you having to put any money into it,
mhm.
right? So with Lorcana, what I did is bought a few packs, pulled a few cards. At the time, people were trying to collect every single card for their sets. So I was like, well, I kind of need that card. You kind of need these 10, 15 cards. Let's just do a swap there, right? And that concept, I've been using that concept since like day one.
Yeah,
It's just like you don't have to spend $500 in a collection. You can literally just pick and choose a few of them. And then I even love teaching the little kids these because I'm sure you've seen the little kids doing their like trade up challenges and whatnot, right? I'll be like, all right, here's a 25-cent card. Just go get a dollar card. They'll come back with a dollar card. Okay, here's a dollar card. Now try to get maybe, like 5 or 10 different cards for that one card and so on and so forth. But I think it's a great strategy. And you see it now. You see it now a lot more than you used to see it back then. Let me trade in my favor. Let me trade at 80%. Let me trade at 70. Let me trade at 90. But a lot more people have been using that because obviously it helps you retain capital for bigger collections and
yeah.
whatnot. But no, yeah, that trade game, once you master it, it goes a long way.
Yeah, no, that's some crazy advice right there. That's awesome. That's definitely something that because I came from the more perspective where I don't have like I'm just liquidating my collection pretty much what I've
Mm,
acquired for a while. That's
mm,
like in decent condition,
yeah.
um, and using that to kind of start up buying stuff. Which I know you posted some stuff and like I feel like everyone posted stuff about it. I haven't done a lot of news, but the new Eevee set that's coming up, so that's what I'm really kind of gearing up for. I'm like,
That one's gonna be, it's
yeah,
gonna be insane, bro. Like here we go, the next Evo set.
yeah. Well, that's what I originally thought with Surging Sparks was because I was like, okay, we got the Pikachu, we got the Latias, and I was like, okay, maybe this will be something. But so I was gonna do a bunch of pre-releases, but then I was kind of thinking about it. I'm like, okay, let me just only do a couple. Like, I'm not gonna put all my eggs in one basket. I'm not gonna like, we still got more stuff that is ahead. So let me just do that. And I
And
forgot
then they
about.
dropped the bomb on us.
Yes, no, exactly, yeah. So it's like we got the Pikachu, and then we got the Eevee set, and then we got the Rocket set afterwards, I think. And I'm like, oh, that's gonna be hype.
Yeah,
Crazy.
yeah.
But it's definitely looking like a good stuff in the future. Um, but I like
It's gonna be a good run for the end of the year and a good start next year. Yeah.
Yeah, I love what you said about like the small trade ups and stuff like that. Like that's actually like super important. And what I kind of hear from that is also like kind of like the master set. Like there's people that will like collect like the master set and all of that type of stuff. So like kind of, there will be those people that need like, the 10 bulk, what you see as bulk commons, they're going to need that in the, wherever they're going. They're going to need that for their master set. They're going to need, or they might need that $500 card that you have like for that master set, and they'll,
Yeah.
maybe it's the last two, like maybe it's one of the last three cards that they need, so they're going to like want it a lot more. So definitely like everyone's different. Everyone kind of has like a different goal that they're trying to make. Um, and they kind of got to reach like, so just kind of as a seller, kind of like being able to facilitate those needs of everyone. So that's what
Yeah, and then how do you get to do that, right? How do you
yeah,
facilitate people's needs? And I'm huge on building relationships.
yeah,
You got to build relationships, right? Networking, talking to other vendors, talking to other people around you. But I'm huge, and I think you'll find what's going to differentiate you from other people. But what I love to do is like I like to get to know people. I'm a people person. So when I go up to you, I'm not just gonna, hey, what do you need? No, it's like, hey, I always ask three questions. Who's your favorite Pokemon? Right? Yeah, you're gonna let me know who's your favorite Pokemon. Guess what? I might have a few copies of certain things that you might not have, right? Or what I tend to do a lot is build those relationships with my clients, and then next time they come around, hey, it's like, I got three or four other cards that I've been thinking about you. Here's those three, four other cards, right? But um that's how you get to know who's your master set collectors, who's collecting EVs, who's collecting the random person looking around for Weedles, right? You see those all the time. And I think that really goes a long way with somebody, because if you remember, first of all, you remember my name, that's already telling something. But then you remember that I'm looking for this specific card, or I only collect this type of Pokemon. It just creates that relationship of be, being who we are meant to be, which is collectors, right? I'm huge on that too. It's like, first, I'm a collector. I understand what a collector is, and therefore I pay attention to the small things. Second would be me being a vendor, but I've always said, I vend to help you with your guys' collections, right? It's a win-win situation, right? Obviously, I'm not going to say that I'm not here for the monetary aspect of it, but going with the right intentions, going with the right mindset goes a long way without your clients. Yeah.
yeah, no, that's true. And yeah, that's something, and that's kind of what I'm trying to do with this is like, and just be friendly with people, is like just build that connection and like build, especially now because I saw I reached out to some like really big, at least in my opinion, like big voices in the community and people that kind of inspired me
Yeah.
to start this. And like they'll reach out. Like all you got to do, like what's the worst thing that they're gonna say is like no. Or the worst thing they're gonna do is like read your message and not respond, or they're just
Yeah.
not gonna respond outright. So, but at least you try, and that's something that I love with Instagram and or just like all social media or whatever. And a funny story. This is not related to Pokemon at all, but like
Go ahead.
I'll shoot like I shot like Metro Boomin a DM, or like I'll just
Nice.
shoot like random people just DMs all the time, just be like, you know what, what's the worst thing you're gonna say? No, right? Like, or like I'll comment, like something I love doing is like just commenting on random people's stories and stuff like that. Or
Yeah.
I'm not like a big like reels person, like scrolling reels, but I love stories, or I love like the little notes things in Instagram. So I'll just
Yeah.
like randomly comment to people, like, and um for example, like I outreached to like a random like deck box company that looked like they made pretty good stuff. I'm like, oh, I think your stuff looks really good. If you ever want someone to help promote your stuff, like I got you. And they're like, bet, like you can like we actually have an affiliate program if you want to sign up for that. I'm like, oh, awesome, that's great. So like just there's not really a downside to reaching out. And I guess before I did like Pokemon, I was really big into like social media agency and stuff like that, which is
Okay.
a more saturated field. But that's I guess maybe now that I'm talking about it, I'm like maybe that's probably where I got that little kick where just reach out to people. You can
Yeah.
like what's the worst thing that's gonna happen? But
No, and
then
it's one of the things, and sorry to interrupt.
no, you're
It's funny because I just spoke about this, and it's about having a fixed mindset and then having a growth mindset, right? Having a growth mindset is, okay, let's figure things out. Here's an obstacle. How am I going to overcome it? Right? And then to your example, the growth mindset idea there is, hey, I'm going to reach out to people. I'm not worried about them not replying, but what's going to be the benefit if they do reply back to me, right? What if I get a sponsorship? What if I get I'm able to promote the products on my page and whatnot. And what I think a lot of people in our community can benefit from is also, not having the fixed mindset, having the fixed mindset where you're like, I'm placing limiting beliefs on myself that I am not worthy to reach out to these people because, they're so big and whatnot. It's like, no, like you said, take the chance, take the opportunity. You never know what's going to come of it.
Yeah, exactly. That's so true, and yeah, that's what and it's a community, and especially now, I don't know what happened, but Radar, Pokemon Radar, one of the bigger creators, he posted something on his story like I think like 3 weeks or like a month ago, and I noticed it because first off, there was like this one guy who I've become like pretty good friends with off Instagram, who's a TCG seller, and he like
Mm.
made his account and just started like spam posting, like just going like crazy on everything and commenting. I'm like, oh my goodness! And by the end of like his second week, he has 600 followers, and then me, who's been working on this for like 3 months, only has like just reached 100, and I'm like, wait, what happened? So it's just
That's
like
the algorithm, man.
no, yeah, no, I texted, I reached out to him, and I reached out to him like when he just started. I saw his account like on day one, and I
Yeah,
reached out to him like, hey, I see that you're new. If you ever like outreach connection, if you ever need help with anything or want any tips, I got you, like that type of stuff. And he was like, awesome, sweet. And we've just had a really good friendship. He's given me some like not giving me sponsorships, but he's given me links to like programs and stuff that you can do for like the deck, like not the deck box company, but other things. And it's just
yeah,
like, um, but then so with him, back to my story with him, like his account like went crazy, and then I see like randomly like 50 new accounts that are like all brand new, and they're all like just going like insane on everything. I'm like, what is happening? And it's like you said with like the Nashville thing, it's like I feel like Pokemon's on this next, or the TCG space, not necessarily
yeah.
Pokemon, but the TCG space is on this like just next like it kind of went like this, and then it went like that in COVID, and then it kind of plateaued, and then it's just gonna like go crazy. So like I feel like
It's gonna be fun.
definitely, yeah, it's gonna be fun, and it helped me realize that I was like, hey, you hit it on the right time, like you got into it on the right
Hmm.
time, like timing's a big thing.
Trust your gut.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it was more like trust my mom because my I was working on like the online stuff and I wasn't getting a lot of stuff, and my mom was like, Rocco, just work on the Pokemon stuff. That's what you like. You know what the Pokemon market is like. And my dad was like the too. I'm like, okay. I was like, fine. I'll work on the Pokemon market, whatever. And then I did, and I started seeing success with it. I'm like, oh shoot! Like, thanks, mom. Like, the same person who got
Yeah,
me into it is now helping me, like, get all the stuff, like, get
yeah.
stuff.
No, it's funny
But
how some people can believe more in you than you do in yourself, right?
yeah,
It's crazy.
yeah. And it's like kind of that unbelief thing where it was like, yeah, you got to believe in yourself. You're like, okay, fine. You know what? And then like I saw some videos about like obviously it's like not clickbait, but it's highlighting like the big players, like the Pokemon Millionaires or whatever it's like. And I saw that video.
Yeah,
I was like, that'd be sick to do that. And then my mom was like, you should do that. And I was like, okay, like obviously there's a market for this. Like there's like billions upon billions of dollars that are being transferred. Maybe not billion, I don't know. There's a lot of money being transferred to it. Um,
yeah,
and yeah, it's crazy. But back to like the creator stuff, like I've seen after that and after reaching out and after just being active, um, like I've gotten like, I've had like, I get about 100 followers a week now. I've been getting like that, which is like
there you
pretty good.
go. There you
Not like,
go.
and that's the thing that I noticed because before I was doing like the convention was kind of the first time I showed my face. Before I was kind of just doing a lot of faceless, like, um, not like highlighting, like just highlighting a mystery box I had or not just showing my
Yeah,
face. And it's again taking that chance where it's like, I recorded the stuff for the convention and it was like, I feel like you feel super nervous, right? Because this is something new. And then
hmm,
I went and I did it and I was like, oh, like these guys are actually like super nice. Like they don't see me as like this kid who's just like trying to do something dumb or whatever. Like they're actually taking my
no,
seriously and all that
not
stuff.
even. It's like how I see it is like the younger crowd, right? It's like, dude, like if I was your age and I had the guts to go up to people at that time, then it could have been maybe a little bit different. So I think everybody sees, a little bit of themselves in you by just trying,
Mhm.
right? And it's also we're a bunch of nerds, you know. We're not out here, you know, trying to mess with people or anything like that. If anything, we're very supportive. The community has always been very supportive, very willing to help out each other. I mean, here in Nashville, yo, you know, we have a little bit. I like to say we just because it's a bunch of our friends, right? At Lighthouse, we know a few people there. At Nashville, the Nashville show, we know a whole bunch of people, and it's just I call it like a guild, right? We're in a guild where, you know, me with my WoW references and whatnot, we're in a guild. Everybody's trying to do the same. You got new people coming in, trying to teach them, trying to hold their hand through the whole process. But yeah, it's like don't be afraid to ask a question. Worst case scenario, like you said, you know, like nah, don't bug me. Go on to the next one. It's all right. No isn't
Yeah,
bad.
yeah, and I did get some like there were some people at the convention that were like, "Nah, I can't do it right now." I'm like, "Okay, cool, that's fine. You know what? On to the
Yeah,
next one. You know, let's just ask them.
exactly.
Let's just have fun.
Exactly.
You know." And I
Hmm.
ended up not like what was his name? Oh goodness, Johnson. I don't remember, but there was a soccer card guy there. I
Yeah.
forgot his name. Yeah, I love. He's a great guy, but I just forgot his name right now. And it's like I don't even like he did nothing to do with like Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, like any of that stuff. Like it's a sports card guy, but I'm like,
Yeah.
you know what? He has something cool to say. He seems like a dope guy. I might as well like just go up and be like, hey, can I just talk to you for like, can I just do a quick interview? He's like, sure. And like, just everyone has something to give. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, everyone has something to give, and this will be my final point on like the growth thing. And then if you have anything else to say, you can say it, and then I can move on.
Yeah. No, yeah. You good. Go
But
ahead.
by me showing like I showed my face for the first time, and I'm like, okay, like I knew that there was like a like I could continue like my content was getting like decent views every day, right, from the faceless stuff. But I was like, I can show my face and like actually start doing this like for real. I don't know what the trade-off's going to be. I might get like one video, like my last faceless video got like 3K views, which was good for me. And then it was like, this next one might get only like 20. I don't know. But then like I was like, you know what? You got to take that chance. And then it's
Yeah.
like I'm not getting like like all the views are not like crazy, but I'm getting a lot more like retention, a lot more like people that are like
Mm.
genuinely interested and not just like, oh, scrolling, oh, that's cool, and then like just scrolling again. Like it's more like wholesome content, if you know what like it's
Yeah, no, now they can put a face to the name, right?
yeah,
It's like, oh, this guy's for real. He's
yeah,
not some, you know, dude behind a computer screen just making
yeah,
videos and whatnot. He's like, he's a regular dude, you know?
yeah, exactly. So it's definitely like taking that chance, and I don't know where this is gonna go. I hope this goes great. If it doesn't go great, then you know what, it's fine. At least I tried. I have hopefully like 80 more years to try
Yeah.
something new. But it's just like just do it. It's Nike. Just do it. This is Adidas.
Nick.
I'm not wearing a Nike thing, but just just go with it.
Oh, it's like I forgot who said, but it's like you're never starting from zero when you try something, right? You start from experience. So worst case scenario, if you've gotten all this experience, your next venture, you're gonna be able to take something from here, apply it to your next venture, and it's just gonna be all gravy.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. So my next thing for you is you said
Yeah.
you started turning this into a full time thing, which ultimately for me, like that's what my dream, like my Pokemon dream, is. I'm like an entrepreneur guy. Like I love starting businesses, doing all this stuff. I'm sure. I hope
Yeah,
I don't.
yeah.
If I show that, that's great. If I don't show that, I love doing that. For the record. Um, and my dream is like to make this a card shop and all that stuff. So you saying that like you have seen like full time, like being able to do this full time is great, and that's something I hope I can do soon. But what platform do you see the most success on?
So just so people don't fact check me out there. So I have done it full time before. Now I'm doing part time a little bit, but of course the goal is to go back into full time, right? But I mean, what platform works the best? For me, honestly, I like what you're doing because you're doing eBay,
Yeah,
right? eBay is a consistent, you don't have to be doing some crazy discounts on it. It is what it is, right? You just post the thing. If it's the cheapest one, it's the cheapest one. If it's not, it's not. I love eBay just because it's plain simple. It's not too complex. But when it comes down to trying different things, you definitely want to go ahead and venture out to see what platform is going to be best for you, right? For instance, if you sell bulk, you might not do it on eBay, right? You might actually do it on TCG.
yeah, player.
If you're doing high-end cards, maybe either eBay and TCG is not the best platform to do so. Maybe it's in person, like going to shows, like going to trade days, like going to, collecticons. But for me personally, I like to experiment with different sites as well. For me right now, Mercari, bro.
Yeah, that's
Mercari is really
yeah.
good right now just because it's zero commission. It's
Yeah.
zero commission to the seller. So you're making all your money and your profit, and your buyers are actually paying for shipping. They're paying all the sales tax. They're paying pretty much everything. So Mercari for me is one of the platforms where I'm currently selling my One Piece at, just because it can sell for retail or a little bit more, depending who's the person who's buying, right? But of course, if there was one platform that I only had one choice, it would definitely be eBay, just
Mm.
because it's eBay. Think about the vast audience that eBay has, that platform
Yeah.
that it has, because everything else is gonna be subpar to eBay. I mean, eBay is eBay.
Yeah, no, that's hex. Okay, that's cool. Yeah, Mercari. What with all the people, like I said, like just all these random accounts blowing up and all this stuff. Um, I've seen some Mercari stuff. I looked at into it. I was like, okay, this looks cool. It looked more like Japanese stuff because I know there's like some other like Japanese, like obviously Pokemon's Japanese, but it kind of looked like more from Japan. But I'll have to check. I'll have to check
It's
Mercari out.
it's two markets now. So you got the US based one and the
Okay.
Japanese market
Okay.
in Mercari. Yeah,
Okay.
so now Mercari, I've been with Mercari since beta. Beta, it was amazing. I love those days. It was like zero commissions to buy and sell. So it was perfect. It was just trading pretty much. But no, you can't, it's just two markets now, US market and Japanese market. That's why you see a lot of Japanese stuff because they're just flooding they open the floodgates with that. But yeah, you'll find all kinds of stuff.
All right, I gotta try that out. That's this is what we do this for. We know we're learning and we're
Yes,
just.
sir.
But
Yes,
yeah, I gotta.
sir.
And the thing with eBay too is, again, like if you don't got a lot of stuff, like obviously I didn't have a lot to start with, but it's free. Like pretty much it's free. You get like 250 listings if you just had to sign up for like your stuff. And that's what I started. And last month I bought my first like actual like eBay subscription stuff for like an actual legitimate store. But the
Nice.
outreach is crazy. Like I was looking at like some of my analytics. I was like, what? I was reaching like this amount of people, and it's
Mm-hmm.
like it gives you that next insight that you need to like reach that next level where it's like, okay, I have a, let's just say I have like 100,000 impressions. I have a like a or maybe I have 10,000 impressions. That's probably a better number. I have like a 2% click rate where they like actually click on my stuff. So I'm getting like what 10,000, you're getting like what, like maybe 500 people viewing your store. And then
Yeah.
out of that click rate, I have a 1% buy rate. So you have 50 people looking into your stuff and it or actually buying your items. And it's like, okay, so for me to reach that metric, I have to post at least if I post at least 10 times a day or if I post like at least 10 times in like 10 items a day, I'm not guaranteed, but I will most likely get like five sales by the end of the week or something like that. Like
Yeah.
so it's that next little thing that is really good. But eBay is awesome. Like I started off of eBay. It's just simple. It's pretty. The fees are okay. And I'm still trying to figure out all the shipping stuff. But eBay is definitely a good thing. I love eBay.
Yeah. No,
And
eBay.
sorry, their shipping label stuff is also really good for international orders because they do all the processing for you.
Yes,
They're
yes.
very good like that. But sorry, what were you gonna say?
No, well, same thing. I love eBay because of the shipping options, right? You can have the buyer pay 31 cent for tracking,
Mhm.
and I think you can't beat that. Like, where are you gonna get tracking for 31 cent, right?
Mhm.
Depending on how many cards they buy and all that good stuff, right? Because I've listed a few cards, especially my bulkier cards, right? Anything five and under. Um, I'll The reason why I do the shipping option with the tracking is, of course, you want to mitigate risk, right? If you get somebody who says they didn't get their card, now you're just short the card and then now the refund, right?
Yeah,
But no, I could definitely also, talk to you about all that shipping stuff. I've done it a lot. I've kind of figured out a whole situation
yeah.
about it. But no, yeah, eBay's definitely the place that I would continue to sell cards at.
Yeah, I'll definitely reach out to you because the shipping stuff is crazy. Like for example, today, it's funny because I listed like an old Lapras, like kind of from where you started, like gym era stuff. Old
Hmm.
Lapras, $12, right? Great. I go this morning, I wake up, do my whole stuff, and then I look at my just eBay stuff, and it's like I got two messages. Can I see like something I get? Can I see the front and back? Obviously, yes, of course you can see. Like I'll take a picture. Here is this. Um, and then I look again, and someone buys it. I'm like, okay, great. Hopefully, it's one of those two people that are in the U.S., so my shipping's fine. It was someone in Switzerland that bought my card,
Mm.
and I only had $4. It was like $4 shipping on it, and I'm like, okay. And I was like, oh, that's great. So now I have to pay like, whatever, like $28 international shipping. So now
Yeah.
I'm losing. I just lost like a bunch of I lost like $1,000 on that card just because it was
Yeah.
the site on my fault and on my bad. So
Yeah.
I'll definitely have to talk to you about that.
Now I'm telling you that's how you learn by
Yeah, no,
experience.
and exactly. Yeah, you learn from experience. And at the end of the day, oh, okay, what? I lost $10. Okay, that sucks. I'm not a multi-million dollar I'm not like a LLC or anything like that. Like it's not I'm a kid. So it's like I'm not, I can mow a lawn, make 20
You'll
bucks and
live. Yeah, you'll
I'm good.
live.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So that's why, it's like it sucks sometimes like, oh, dang it, I did that. But it's like at the end of the day, it's gonna be okay. Just keep on moving forward and doing that. I also saw a bunch of I know Umbreon's Mafia. I forgot his name again,
Tyler.
but I know his tag. Okay, I know he gave me some good TikTok advice, so I'm hoping to get him on here and talk about the TikTok stuff.
No, he's great,
But
man. I
yeah,
love I love Tyler. He's my boy.
yeah. So yeah, so I'll have to reach out to Tyler and ask him about the TikTok stuff and maybe get him on here. But he did give me some information on that, and I was like, okay, that's really good. So, and I also saw Whatnot. Whatnot is going my I work at a grocery store, Publix, and we have a manager, like an assistant manager, and
Hmm.
he doesn't play Pokemon cards. He loves Pokemon cards. Like he loves Pokemon cards. He's not I think he actually pulled the Mew, the Bubble Mew from
Okay.
151,
Yeah.
and when it was like, or he bought it for like I think maybe like $5 on on like Whatnot before it like
Yeah.
took off, and he
Yeah.
just gave it to his friend, and I'm like,
Yeah.
bro, like, and I came to him this week. I'm like, bro, that card that you bought for like $5 off Whatnot is now like $500. And he's like, what? He's like, yeah. He's like, dang it. Well, but he also said that same friend has like two Moonbreons and all that stuff. So I'm like,
Mm.
okay, well, that guy's probably doing some high end type stuff
Yeah,
all the time.
he's well off.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly. So I was like, but he says he gets a bunch of he he says he buys a lot of stuff off Whatnot. So I'm like, okay, Whatnot's cool. I know you have to I think you have to go through some process to get like verified for Whatnot, but besides that, I know that's going like a lot of people are hopping on that too. So I
Yeah.
don't.
No, I started on Whatnot too a long time ago.
Mhm.
I'll tell you a short story. I'll try to make it short,
Okay.
for Whatnot. So Whatnot, I mean, it's a great platform, once you build your audience, right?
Mhm.
Because you'll transfer your whole audience over to the Whatnot platform. Because if you don't really have a platform, is what everybody says about Whatnot is to gain a following, you're literally gonna have to give away cards, right?
Yep.
You invest a lot of money into it, and I mean, I'm not shaming Whatnot. If I know a lot of people who make really good money off of Whatnot, but if you're starting off with no audience, it gets a little bit difficult, right? Because uh, I was on Whatnot probably like 2, 3 years ago,
Mhm.
and I had my following, and every single night, it was good money coming out because you had like 100 sales or whatnot. But once you take a break and you try to come back, ooh, it's hard to get back up,
Yeah.
right? But one of my biggest things right now is trading my time, my I, pretty much just trying to buy my time back
Yeah.
and whatnot. Like you can do a 4 hour stream, 8 hour stream, but if you're not if you're not anybody of these big guys, you can literally be spending 4 to 8 hours and you've only made probably like $100, right?
Yeah.
So then that's when you start questioning, ooh, should I really be doing that or should I be going to collect account and spending 8 hours there? Right? But no,
Exactly.
whatnot's definitely fun. As a buyer, I mean, you can get in trouble. You can get in trouble with buying because you just link your credit card, your debit card, just buy and tap on everything. But
Yeah.
no, whatnot's still fun. It's a fun app. But I think you would do good once you get your following,
Yeah.
hop on there, and you can do all kinds of stuff on there.
Yeah, I've heard that's what I've heard. So I haven't really gone too crazy into it. I haven't even started like a Facebook for my thing, which I probably need to do. But it's just I've just been running off Instagram and seeing stuff on there. I know I got like an account linked, but I don't even like I might have like 500 followers on Facebook and I just don't know about it because it's just the account is just there.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, Whatnot. I've heard that about Whatnot. So, and that makes sense when you said you're just giving away cards because I see all these people like they're doing like rip and chips or whatever, all these giveaway. I'm like, bro, you guys are giving away like so much stuff. Like I can't be doing that. Like
Yeah,
like
you're pretty much buying your followers at that point, right?
yeah,
Once you
which
get
is
like to
like
1,000 followers, then your algorithm pops up and more people join your views and whatnot. Yeah.
so. But that's great. So yeah, do eBay, y'all. Then that's pretty much. I feel like that's standard for most sellers like reselling. I have a friend at school that like is selling her Beanie Boo collection or something from like like 10 years ago, and she's like, "Oh yeah, I just do it
Yeah.
off eBay." So like eBay is just like a good if you're trying to sell pretty much anything like or resell, just like eBay is just a good platform for that. Um, my next question. So for me, at some the national this national was super special for me, obviously, because I got to meet all you guys, all you cool people, and go to an actual show. But I bought my first Charizard. Obviously, Charizard's the
Okay.
big dog in the TCG. I bought an Evolutions, just like near mint hollow Charizard, and
Nice.
I was super happy about it, and it's sitting on the store, but I don't know if I should get it graded or not. But it's just sitting on the store, and that my question for you is like, what was your first like that card, like your first Charizard or your first like that card that either you bought and you're like, oh my goodness, like I've reached like for me it was like a kind of like a rite of passage, I guess in a way, and
Yeah.
if that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
what was that either you bought or sold, but that first card where you're like, oh my goodness, like this is something that is like feels good, I guess.
Yeah. No, so one of my stories that I give that I tell everybody is me personally in the TCG, I hit a lot of reset buttons, right? You buy, you buy, you buy, you buy, you build up, you build up, you cash out, if that's what you want to do in the TCG. But one of my biggest things, and I have it, right? One of these days I'm gonna do like show and tell and then just start
Yeah.
popping up cards and whatnot.
Yeah.
But I started off probably like 2 years ago when I hit my reset. I had a first stage challenge Moltres at the time, and I picked it up for like $150,
Yeah.
right? And I used that to then sell it, to then buy more, to then sell it, to then buy more,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
after 2 years, I just came right back to me, right? And just like you said, it's a rite of passage because it's kind of like a confirmation, like I can do this. This
Yeah.
is where I started. And I always tell everybody, right? Don't get emotionally attached to your cards because if
Yeah.
not, you would keep everything, you wouldn't sell anything, right?
Yep.
And then the other thing that I say is they're gonna come back. Don't worry about it. They will come back. And of course, not the same card, but that first ed Shallow's Zapdos, sorry, I said Moltres. The Zapdos is definitely one of those cards for me most recently because of course I've had a lot of aha moments too throughout my career, but. No, that first hit shell as much as Zapdos, I still have it till today. I don't know if I'm gonna grade it. I kind of want to grade it, but then once I grade it, I'm gonna want to sell it. So I think
Yeah.
I'm just gonna keep it raw.
Yeah, no, I feel no, and that's something very important that you said is like don't get hooked on your like obviously like there's a difference like if you're a collector like I have a friend at school who has like he started collecting like years and years before me and he has like a whole bunch of stuff from like maybe black and white or before black and white,
Hmm.
so I don't know what was before black and white. Maybe heart gold silver. I don't know. But he has like he started like that, like all long time ago, and
Yeah,
he has all of it until pretty much late Sun and Moon. And I'm
mm,
like, bro, like I've been literally working like 4 years to buy his collection from him because I'm like,
yeah,
it's like even though if it's a lot of bulk, like bro, like that's a lot of like just old stuff that is
yeah,
awesome.
yeah,
And he's like, no, I don't want to sell it. I'm attached to it. And like you're gonna
yeah,
have those people that like, they have their binder from, 1999, right? That has like, maybe two Charizards in there, and you're like, I want that so bad because there's all that stuff. But they're like, no, that's my childhood, like
yeah,
you
yeah,
need that's you're gonna have those people. But if you're trying to like flip and stuff, like, don't get hooked on it. One of my aha cards, I guess one of my another aha card, I had a Gengar from EX from Unseen Forces, like full art.
Mm,
And
nice.
I was like, oh, I was like, oh, it's a cool card. I've had it in my collection for like, I don't know, like what, 3 years, and picked it up. So I don't even remember where I got it. And it's that old.
That's how it
And
rolls.
yeah, no, that's what happens when you look at date you're collecting. You're like, how did I get this? And it's like I have my
Yeah.
spreadsheet, and it's like by value of the card. I'm like zero. Like I don't remember. I don't even know how I got this. It just ended up here. Um, but it was that Gengar, and I was like, you know what? This is one of those, like you said, that card that like I need to sell this so that I can get more stuff in the future. And it's yeah, it's gonna come back to you, like you said. Like there's some cards that I wish I didn't sell. Um, there's some cards, but there's also some really, really expensive cards that I really want to have. And how are you
Yeah,
gonna get that? You're gonna get that through selling those cards that you don't want, like not necessarily want to sell. And if you're in that position, like hey, like goodbye until I see you again, kind of thing.
exactly. Exactly. No, and it's
So
funny that you bring that up because um what I do now, what I'm so used to now is like, man, I want that card, right? There's just this e-reader card that I really want. But now my mentality is like, okay, I know that I'm gonna have it in my possession maybe for a week, maybe for a month. So my Instagram is I need to start doing it again, but my Instagram was pretty much it was gonna be just an archive of cards that have come my way that I've
mhm.
owned, but I know that I'm gonna get rid of, right?
Yeah.
So one of your questions was, how did I get that poncho, right?
Yeah,
I've
I
owned
was
a few
literally gonna
ponchos.
ask you about
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. Like I've owned a few ponchos, and I need to send you some snapshots of what the ponchos were selling back in the day because I always loved having my Mercari because that's what I was selling, and I
Yeah.
was selling probably like 2015, 2017. So 2015, 2017 prices for ponchos, a lot of people are like, yeah, I can't believe you sold that car for that much, because it was cheap back then. It was cheap back then. But going back to our point is like I now know not to get emotionally attached to my cards because A, that card is coming my way to provide me the opportunity, like you said, to be able to acquire different cards, add those to my collection, because
Mhm.
that's how I see myself, right? I do see myself as a vendor, but I still see myself as a collector, right?
Yeah.
Hunting out the cards out in the wild, obtaining the cards that you really wanted, holding it. But for me, the better thing is giving that. It's kind of like, I don't know how. I always say this, but I think it's funny, right? But it makes so much sense. Like, I always find really good homes for these cards,
Yeah.
right? Like I know it's gonna be taken good care of if I'm selling this Dragonite to a Dragonite collector, right?
Yeah.
That thing's gonna sit in their collection, it's gonna be cherished, kind of like a Toy Story reference, right? You want to make sure the toy goes on to the next kid who's
Yeah.
gonna love it and play with it and whatnot. So that's the same type of feeling that I wanna be able to provide throughout. My vendor's whole situation. But yeah, don't get emotionally attached to your cards. They're always going to come back because if they don't come back, oh, trust me, once you're given the opportunity to go and chase that card back, you will. So it's
Yeah.
it's
No,
always been fun that way.
yeah, and back to the poncho, like another thing, like kind of something that really started me on. It was a guy that did a vlog on a convention, right?
Mm,
And something that was like that I didn't know. Like obviously I knew like there was the Pikachu illustrator, like the Charizards. Like I know there's like those high ticket cards, but something I didn't know about were the ponchos. And I was like, oh shoot, these are really cool. I'm looking at them, like, oh goodness, like those are really expensive too. Um, and
yeah.
I'm like, like one if I see one of those, like that's gonna be crazy. And then I go and I see it's there. I'm like, oh my goodness, like yeah, like that's crazy.
These
So
things are real.
yeah, no, exactly, it's real. It's like these things actually exist. Like that's kind of crazy. Um, but it's just like I yeah, kind of don't get emotionally attached. So how did you get that? You just like Mercari or something, or like just you found it through a friend or
Back in the day, it was now thinking about it now. So what I used to do, back in the day, it was Craigslist, bro. So
oh yeah,
Craigslist is like, if people don't know what Craigslist is, I mean, you don't see a lot of posts on Craigslist anymore, but that's how you used to do it, right? We didn't have Facebook groups, we didn't have Mercari, we had eBay, but you were trying to find deals. right?
Mm.
So Craigslist kind of like Facebook Marketplace in a way. And yeah, he just went out in the wild and met up with random strangers. Hopefully, he didn't get jacked, you know. And no, there was this dude. He collected a bunch of Charizards, and he had both the Charizard X, Charizard Y Poncho Pikachus. I had them, and I actually sent them to grade back in the day. They came back as tens. And then I was able to acquire another pair. I don't have any of them now, unfortunately, but and again, I'm gonna send you the pictures of what I sold that
Yeah.
Poncho Pikachu for. It's to this day I just cringe. But who was gonna know, right? Who's gonna know?
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Hindsight's 2020, right?
yep,
What's
exactly.
that?
Yep.
No one knew that I don't know, like no one knew. Well, I guess was Moonbreon a card that was like automatically ticketed, or
That one came after the
yeah,
whole
I was trying to
after
think.
after it blew up.
Yeah, I mean
But
that's what I was trying to think of, like something that a card that didn't blow up until it did.
well, I mean, all the shinies, all the
Yeah,
crystal,
yeah,
all the gold stars. I mean, back in
right,
even the Charizards, like I remember picking up Charizards at 40, $50 a pop,
yeah,
you know? The shadowless Charizards, you would pick those up for like 60, $70, you
yeah,
know? But then they blew up and it's all history.
yeah,
Now, I'll,
yeah.
I'll share with you one story. I'll save one story for later, but it was back in the day. I picked up a $15,000 collection that was worth like before the boom, and then
Uh-huh.
the boom happened, and then bro, till this
Yeah,
day, I kick myself in the butt. But it was literally like the very next year, and it
yeah,
just blew up. But I'll
that's
share with
crazy.
that to you some other time, because then I'm gonna take up too much of your
No,
time.
no, you're good now. We'll do this again. I'm sure this is gonna be great.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
man.
you've shared a lot of memories. You have a lot of stories, but what's your favorite memory in the TCG? Your favorite, I guess
Oh
you kind
man.
of.
Yeah, no, my favorite memories and that I hope to continue to create these memories is what we're doing now, right? Something that I didn't do in Cali, which I'm doing now in Nashville, is really putting my foot down, and we're wanting to continue to create those communities of loving, caring people who help each other out, right? So actually, since last year, we've been doing trade days. We host trade days here all over Nashville. I've had them in pretty much anybody who wants to have me. We bring our people out there. One of my good buddies, his name is Tony. He owns a few wind boba tea shops here. I don't know if you've seen them, but those bubble tea shops is he's the owner of those shops, and we're always hosting trade days. We're actually having a trade day for this Christmas coming up. I don't know if you joined our, no, you probably haven't joined, but yeah, you need to join our um we're having a Secret Santa this year. So
Oh,
we're
okay.
actually hosting that Secret Santa in about 4 days. We're gonna close the list. I'll send you the group link. It's PokéNash for Nashville, I believe. I probably slaughtered that, but it's pretty much those type of things I like to do, right? So this is gonna be our second year doing the Secret Santa, and all it is anybody who wants to join, minimum $25 buy-in. And that just means that you're going to give somebody a present for at least $25. There's no limit. You can give somebody a Shadowless Charizard if you want to. Um, right? Right? You can. And some people do go crazy, though. Some people do go crazy. Like, it was 25 minimum. I flew to Cali because I was going to go visit friends. I bought a whole bunch of souvenirs. My person loved Bulbasaur, so I went all crazy. I got like a custom pin. Here's a Bulbasaur pop, all kinds of crazy stuff. But going back to what we're trying to do, just trying to make it fun again, right? Because I feel like it being so competitive right now, everybody trying to make money is very just solely focused on that. And I wish we can just take a step back real quick and let's go back to being collectors. Let's go back to being a community about just love, care, respect, and help each other out that way. But to answer your questions, I just hope I continue to create those memories moving forward. I think we're off on a good start, and yeah, we'll see what 2025 and the rest of the time to come. Hopefully we stay strong. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I feel that, and yeah, no, you got to make it fun again, and yeah, it's a business, but first it's a hobby, right? It's not, it's not. It didn't start off as like automatically flipping, but it's take it back to going like you in second grade trading cards with your friends at the on the playground or whatever you did. But it's like you got to take it back to those days. But yeah, no, I'd love to join that stuff. I like I said, I'm new, trying to just get connected and just kind of learn all these things. Um, but yeah, and you said favorite Pokemon. What's your favorite Pokemon? What?
Oh, dude, I always tell people I have a list because I
Okay,
cannot make up my mind. I
yeah, I
cannot
feel
make
that.
up
I
my
feel that.
mind. I'm a first gen guy, second gen guy, third gen guy, right? Those are my favorite generations. But if I can name you a few, Snorlax's my boy, right?
Mhm.
Snorlax is my spirit animal, or it's my spirit Pokemon.
Yeah,
Love all the evolutions: Charizard, Blastoise, Gengar, Rayquaza, Greninja, Lugia, Mewtwo. I think Mewtwo's the sickest, baddest Pokemon ever. He's just too gangster. A lot more people need to go watch, Mewtwo Strikes Back when
yeah.
he was super gangster and understand where he's coming from and whatnot. But yeah, I mean, just first gen through the
Yeah.
third gen.
Yeah. I love obviously before my time, but second gen, I've always wanted to buy I have a Game Boy Color, but I've always wanted to buy like an old Pokemon game, and especially Gold and Silver. I don't know why. I started another big thing that helped me into Pokemon was like the old mangas. Um
Mm,
I'm not a big manga guy. I like the Pokemon mangas, and then me and my brother have a big One Piece collection. We
nice.
haven't gone into the card game yet because I don't understand that market, and I'm trying to master. I'm trying to take my little steps and then go from there.
Yeah,
But the mangas really helped, and I loved the second gen mangas. I'm a Slowpoke guy. I love Slowpoke. I don't know.
nice,
It's
nice.
always one of
I
my
love me
favorite.
Slowpoke too, man. I
My favorite
love.
card is him on the boat from Rocket. I believe it's from Rocket, and it's him
Oh, wait,
chilling
he's
on the
just chilling. He
boat.
looks very
Yeah,
cartoonish. Yep,
yeah.
yep.
I have that on my nightstand. Not great or anything, just raw, and it's just I just love it. I look at it not before I go to bed, but it's just there with me, and it's just chill. It's just I like it. And then I love Totodile. I don't know why, just me. I just vibe with Totodile. I love second gen starters.
No, he's hilarious. He's a little ball of fun energy that doesn't stop. So no, he's super cool.
Yeah. So and originally from like I said, Miami, so Gators. So gotta
But
yeah,
no, my buddy's a huge Gator fan. Dan, all he collects is for alligators.
yeah,
So he
that's
has
crazy.
crocodiles, crocodiles, and for alligators like all day, every day. That's
That's
his
crazy.
dude.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. But yeah, okay, Slowpoke. I'll keep that in mind because you say you keep that in mind. I'll keep that in mind for you. I got
Yes,
all that
sir.
stuff. Uh, and then I guess favorite. Yeah, what's your favorite Pokemon? Favorite set from the TCG if you got one? I don't know. That's kind of
Favorite
that's.
favorite Pokemon set. E-readers, man. Yeah,
Okay.
I have a soft spot for e-readers just because all the artists for those particular sets, they just went ham, right? I think it was like, okay, we've already done. Let's create the original prints of these type of Pokemon. Now let's put them in an environment. Let's go ahead and go all out and crazy, But the e-readers are super gorgeous. Aquapolis, Expeditions, all those cards are really, really cool.
Cool, 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 cool.
And they're making a comeback. A ton of people are starting to collect those.
Yeah,
So pick them
yeah.
up because they're going back up in value.
I got you. I got you. Yeah, I'll look into that. My brother's a huge evolutions guy because that's when he really got into it
Mm,
was evolutions. Me, I don't really know. I don't really got one. Honestly, I know the set sucks. I just don't know why it has such a big, but Rebel Clash, like Sword and Shield Rebel
mm.
Clash, I know it was a like absolute trash set, but I got my ETB right here. It's
Nice.
beat up, but it was because that came. I think what makes sense would be it was. Yeah, I think it wasn't COVID. Was it COVID? Christmas of COVID that came out? I don't know. But I got our first like family member that we saw was my uncle
Yeah,
from like after
yeah.
COVID and stuff, and he came for Christmas and then ended up like being locked down with us for like 3 weeks, and
Mm.
that's when I got into Dungeons and Dragons and D&D, which is another thing I do.
Oh, nice.
Which we gotta do that sometime. We gotta do that. I'll
Hell
make
yeah, man. I've always
yeah.
been like, yeah, like RP. But
He actually
yeah, like
he's a
RP when that's
huge
pretty cool.
He was a huge WoW guy.
Yeah.
Both my uncles were, but my mom's brothers. Both of them are huge WoW people.
Mm.
Um, But yeah, that was like he bought us a couple of like those ETBs and like a bunch of packs and stuff, and we just like went crazy on RoboClash. Also the colors too. I'm a like big colors guy, so I
Yeah.
like that. And then Unified Minds, which honestly I think I got yeah I got my Unified Minds, and this is from back in the day.
Yeah.
That's when I got into competitive. Was our local card shop gave me and my brother pretty much two free Unified Minds ETBs, and then let us just
Nice.
build stuff with it, and it was just fun. It was horrible decks, but it was fun.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, no, e-readers is really cool. I love me some e-readers. And then this was a different kind of other different question I had, but
Yeah.
the Japanese or English? Because I know there's people, and I did an interview with Rocket City. And he like obviously his thing was like there's multiple niches. Obviously, like there's gonna be in any big thing. But he's like, oh, there's stuff for like Japanese, and then there's English. And I was like, okay, interesting. Like, are there two different markets, or like what's like the whole different Japanese or English, or I guess English and then non-English cards, I guess, kind of more.
Yeah. So my take on that, right? First of all, Japanese or English for me, Japanese is always gonna take it for me, just because the art of the Japanese and the Japanese cards and even the reverse hollows. I mean, just alone look at 151 reverses, right?
I
They
was
got the
literally
master
about to say
balls,
that.
they got the little
Yeah.
Pokeballs on them. It's just gorgeous. The prints, the patterns on the full arts as well, it goes crazy. But I honestly think Japanese cards, people are gonna hate me for this, but I think Japanese cards might come up because A, they're the originals, right?
Mhm.
They're not making them at all anymore. And some of the cards I do see being more expensive than the others, like we see right now. Of course, English is just because people can read it. When the US, same thing if you're in another country. But funny enough, though, I think, and you can fact check me on this, but I think English cards are more expensive than Japan, and then Japan, obviously, their Japanese cards are like trash or whatever, and then other countries as
Mhm.
well. But it's a niche product, right? Just like the other dude said, it's a very niche product. I know a lot of people who just collect Japanese cards as well. I want to say it's also because they're cheaper, right?
Yeah.
They're more obtainable. I'd rather spend so much money on Korean cards and get the cards that I want just so I can put it in my binder and say that I have it, right? So it's also a way to save money and whatnot. But I mean, I love Japanese cards. Japanese cards are super cool. I don't own, now that I think about it, that I say it out loud. And again, I don't have a really big PC, but on my PC, I do have a few Japanese cards. But no, I think Japanese cards just look better.
No, that's true, and that's what I was gonna You said yeah, they don't print them that much, and yeah, the 151 stuff is cool. Um, Dang it, what was I gonna say? You said something about something that so I play also like when I do play competitive, I also play standard, but standard's kind of like screwed right now, so
Mm.
I'm not really focusing on that really right now. I'm focusing a little bit alternate ones, and one is called Gym Leader Challenge, and it's pretty much the commander of Pokemon.
No,
And
GLC. I'm familiar with GLC. It's
yeah,
fun.
DLC is fun. And what was I gonna say? I'm in obviously some communities of it, and obviously there's a lot older cards, and because of that, they're expensive. And people just like, oh, they're like, oh yeah, I bought like a card in English would be like $40. They're like, oh yeah, I bought it in French for like 5 cents, and I'm like. What you bought it in French? Like that's cool, but like it's cool that and because it's a grassroots format, there's not like it's like it can only be English cards. No, it can be pretty
Yeah.
much any language. So it's like, oh, cool, you got that French Versus Seeker for that in English is like $7, but in French it's like $2. It's like, oh, that's really cool, and it's different. It's unique. It's niche.
Yeah.
And
No, I got a buddy who plays GLC and he needed a Gold Star Latias, bro. Don't ask me why he decided to play that deck,
yeah,
but he
crazy.
got it like that, so he just wanted to play Gold Star Latias. I'm like, sure, buddy, here it is.
Yeah, that's crazy. Um, yeah. What was I gonna? I forgot what I was gonna say about the Japanese things. But yeah, no, I feel like Oh, that's what I was gonna say. TCG Player just started selling Japanese, so you can sell your Japanese
Yes.
cards on TCG Player. So I saw that and I was like, oh, okay, maybe this will drive up the price since it's more accessible
Yeah.
to more people. But yeah, that's cool. And That kind of, I guess, like is there any other like stuff you'd recommend, tips, anything you want to like bounce back to that we were talking about, or just anything continuing, or any questions
No,
or?
I mean, yeah, no, I mean, I'll share a couple more nuggets, and it's funny
Oh,
me being in this position because I'm always, doing the same thing with other people. It's I guess the rule of thumb, right, is like what you're doing. Be as involved as you want to be with whatever it is that you want to do.
mhm.
Um, Starting a podcast is a great way, right? Because I've always thought it's like, dude, if you start a podcast, you're not just starting a podcast to help others, but you're also helping yourself, right?
Yeah.
And you're putting yourself in the forefront of things. You're like, oh, let me go ahead and ask the questions that nobody in the room is wanting to ask because they're too shy or whatnot,
Mhm.
right? So, yeah, go through a podcast, get people on your show, ask them the questions that you really want to do, be invested in it, be engaged in it. But again, one of the things that I recommend you to do, Rocco, is continue to ask people, and going back to what I said in the other videos, like you need a mentor. You need somebody who's going to be willing to help you out, to answer your questions, to point you in the right direction, right? Because we, as your mentor, what we can do is just give you the cheat sheet in a way, right? Like for instance, in shipping, I know a couple of things in shipping that you can do that way you can save yourself time and maybe even some money, right? But no, I would recommend anybody who's listening is do the same thing as Rocco's doing, right? Get engaged, ask questions, and be involved, right? And
Yeah.
I think that that goes a long way pretty much in anything. If you want to do shoes, if you want to do TCG, you want to do watches, you want to do real estate, you want to do all kinds of stuff, get involved with the circle that you want to be part of.
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah. I appreciate it. Yeah, and definitely I'll keep in touch. And what you said, like learning, like I just learned like a whole bunch of stuff, and I'm just like talking. I'm just talking normally. I'm just
Yeah, you're just
having a
chilling.
conversation. Yeah, just chilling. I'm having a conversation with someone who's who's in a position that I would like to be in, or like, or just be there. I'm always learning, always trying to read, always just whatever you can do. And I appreciate that, and yeah, and I'll keep in contact. And I'm also like I try to be, you got to be fun with it, like you said, you got to bring the
Of
hobby back
course.
and stuff. And I'm already think like, and especially once you find your community, like continue to do events and stuff. Like I'm a big I don't know if you know like Cube or something like that, but like
Mm,
pretty much it's like a sealed Pokemon thing that like you create as the person. So it's just like
mm,
there's just a whole bunch of like fun activities that you can do with people. There's like
yeah.
obviously people have their own lives and all that stuff, but once you find your community, just stick with it. Just constantly grow together. You can be, just help people and just and don't be afraid to just start. Like so yeah,
Yeah. Now
do that.
going it with the right mindset, right?
Yeah, yeah. You gotta grow. It's that growth mindset. You can't be saying where we started. Growth mindset. But
Yes, sir.
yeah. Okay, I think that's it. I appreciate where can people find you first off?
Everywhere, Facebook, IG, whatnot, eBay. I try to stay with the same handle, master underscore C underscore and underscore C, master C and C. I'm on all platforms. Yeah, if you guys have any questions, shoot me a DM. I would be more than glad to help you answer your questions. I'm sure Rocco would do the same, or at least we'll be able to point you in the right direction.
Yes, I got you. All right, cool. Yes, and yeah, don't be like sometimes when I'm like texting you and stuff like that. It's like sometimes I hope I'm not being annoying and stuff like that.
Nah,
But
bro, you're
yeah,
good.
yeah. All right, but yeah. So find him all those places. I appreciate you coming on. I really appreciate it. We'll keep in touch.
Thanks for having me, man.
And yeah, of course, it was my pleasure. Just having fun. I'm not. What else? What else do I have to do on this night? Like, there's nothing really else to do. I might as well record a podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, and hopefully this will go out tomorrow, maybe. If not, I have a 14-hour car ride, so I'll have a lot of time
Yeah.
to edit, and
Yeah, you do.
I'll have a lot of people. Oh, that's also last point. Um, People will be supportive. Like I have a bunch of people at my school who um are super supportive. They're the first people to like all my content. Like it doesn't even matter what. Like I could post me like dipping like a PSA 10 Charizard in water, and they would be like, "Oh yeah, that's great. Like good job." Like just blindly doing that. So don't be
Yeah.
definitely support out there and just do that. But yeah, that's my last point. But thank you for coming on.
Yes,
This
sir.
yeah, and keep in touch, and hopefully we'll have you again. I would love to have you again soon, sometime.
I would love to be here, man. I appreciate you for having me.
I got to see that show and tell that you were talking about. I can
Yeah,
show you some more stuff.
and it's
Yeah.
funny that I say that because we're actually planning to do exactly that. It's just a show and tell.
Yeah.
Just come in and show us what the fuck you want to show us.
Yeah. Yeah. I
But
got you.
I'll keep you posted on that too.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course. All right. All right. Thank you. That concludes this episode. We'll see you all next time. And until we see you all again. Bye.